I'm gonna pull the whole thing down. I'm gonna bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's gonna be biblical.
Are you doing it, Elisa? I just sent you a message. I forgot.
Did you? I did. I don't even have my phone here. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Happy New Year. A little early to some, and I'm sure some have already celebrated it. But today we are here in our Midweek Metals with Matt and myself and my amazing co-host, Stu. Welcome.
Hello. Good to be with you guys. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
What's that?
Did you have a nice Christmas?
I did. Yeah. We had a big gathering over here. Yeah, just a normal Christmas, I guess. No snow. Arizona, we don't really get too much snow, at least down here. Up north, you do.
Yeah, we had snow, which was nice.
No arguments at all. It's, one of those times of year, isn't it, for the awakened and the normies to sort of like all come together and.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny because it's usually, this time of year I can usually, get away for, sometimes I'll go up to Sedona or Flagstaff or whatever, just to get away for a few because, the financial seasons really kind of die down during, the holiday season as well as, kind of that summertime where people like to typically vacation.
Yeah.
I can't get away from my phone. I mean, it's never ending here. So it's a good thing, but prices are moving. I'm sure your audience is seeing that. I think we're at like 73, 74 right now on silver. So, and probably going a lot higher than that. So it's been very busy.
So obviously we saw silver rise and rise and rise, and then the banks were shut and stuff over this Christmas period. And then as soon as they opened, it took a massive dip. Now I've heard about people saying the cabal was sending off paper contracts and stuff like that. And can you explain to us exactly what you think happened there and what's been happening with it going up and then this sort of like correction and maybe how it's going to go up again?
I think at the core of it, I think Trump is allowing, I knew this day was coming because I think what the Trump and the White Hats are doing is they're now allowing silver prices to move up. From what I hear, Trump, I think we might have discussed that in the last episode. I know we've been talking about it on shows, but there's a theory going around out there that Trump took the short positions that, the major shorts are JP Morgan, right? Bank of America and Citibank. So, these banks are holding a lot of people's money. So if these banks go down, it's like what the deep state wants. That, okay, you want to let our bank fail? Okay, it's only going to affect your people. It's only going to affect your citizens. We don't care. We're going to jump out of our windows with golden parachutes and ride off into the sunset. I think Trump made a deal with these banks. I think he sold their short positions to the Federal Reserve, most likely. And now he's getting, silver would be the bank killer because, of course, with the price rising, these banks owe a tremendous amount of money holding shorts. So now with the price rising, at the timing of his choosing, Trump's choosing, he's getting the banks to start to have to, he's basically unraveling the banking system intentionally. That's what I think he's doing. And what's really great for is it's great for silver holders, because all these years, if you've been holding silver like myself for the last, 20, 25 years, I've been buying silver. You're sitting there saying, hey, the national debt's going up, inflation's going up. Why isn't the silver responding to this? Right? And it's, of course, because of the bank rigging. They just kept it in place for years and years and years. Everybody thought it was a big deal when silver surpassed $20. Then it was a really big deal when it surpassed $30. That's nothing. Silver should be in the hundreds, if not the thousands of dollars. So what's exciting about it is now you have I think what it is really what we're getting back are free markets. I think what you're seeing now is a free market for silver. The only problem is it's been so polluted by these paper contracts and supply shortages that at a certain point, it's not going to be the price of silver that's prohibitive. It's really just going to be people's ability to get it. I mean, right now, we probably have, on a long estimate, probably a 1 to 2 week delay just to receive your silver. So it's almost like everybody's getting in line. So when you call me and you place an order for whatever amount of silver, $500 or $500,000, there is you're basically waiting in line. So I would just tell people the urgency is you want to get your place in line right now. That's what you want to do.
Yeah. And it makes sense too, because no one is going to convince me that all of this is like organic, and that Trump and the White Hats didn't have the banks under their control for a very long time. Just that it's plain, we're starting to see it. And there was too much. I mean, we've heard all the stories about everything they had on the banks and the CEOs, everything like that. And that's like, it goes en masse. I mean, it's not just the kids, and it's not just the corruption, and it's just the whole package of what was going on. So I agree with you 100% that now we're just starting to see it. And it's still, I think, strategic that they need to do it in a way that is, I guess, digestible. And like you said, a lot of people, I believe, and maybe this is naive of me, but I do believe that on a certain level, the White Hats do want to see people be able to benefit from a lot of these things, whether it's
Exactly.
or XRP or any of those wealth producing opportunities. And so a lot of it is like, why isn't it just happening? Because we want to bring as many people as we can, and a lot of people just, their eyes haven't been opened. And I don't know how you feel about that, but I just think that.
I think what Trump wants and the good guys want is, I think they want a strong and robust metals market and a strong and robust crypto market. All these prices do when they go up is they just increase the market cap of these assets. So when gold was at 1,700, I think the market cap of gold was like $15 trillion. Just to put that in perspective, the market cap of the stock market is like, I think somewhere around, last I checked, was like 50, 60 trillion, might be a little higher than that now. Okay. So you need a place where people can one-to-one offload their assets. So now with gold at, getting close to 5,000, silver getting up to, 80, almost 80, now you have probably somewhere around 50, $100 trillion market cap. And it makes it so that people can move their assets. As the prices go up, people start to say, hey, maybe I should start moving my money. Then the news, unfortunately, things don't become real until you see it on, MSNBC.
Yeah.
They're going to have to start admitting the problems in the banking system. And this brings me to actually a really important point we want to talk about. And that is, there's a lot more happening in the banking system that the news and the bankers, they're all covering it up.
Of course.
It's criminal. There's so much more happening in the banks right now. Insolvency. They have no ability to pay deposit, right? If everybody went to their bank and tried to take out what they have in the bank doesn't have that money, right? So there's going to be a run on the banks at a certain point, and they're trying to cover that up at a time of their choosing. So what Trump's doing with the higher precious metals prices is he's putting pressure on the banks, all while he knows that the banks at a certain point are going to have to admit this stuff, and it's coming to a head. You have all these different events coming to a head, and it's going to be a showdown here. It could be in the next few weeks. Certainly, I think it'll be within the next few months. I think 2026 is going to be the year of revealing fraud, right? I mean, look at this whole thing in Somalia, right? Minnesota.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
They're saying now, I mean, what do they find? I think it's the real number right now so far is 18 billion, and it's going to go much higher than that.
Yeah.
I hear that the fraud in Ohio is far greater than what it is in Minnesota.
Yeah. we are seeing this move as well, because there's massive fraud being revealed in DC. People are talking about it's even worse in New York.
New York. I was just going to say, wait till they get here.
Yeah, I mean,
I was just about to say New York.
Holy crap!
It's gonna be all these blue cities, and then you get into something that Juan's been talking about a lot, and that is the bond markets in these cities. So these bonds that they've taken out, for school buses and schools and all these different public, they're public bonds. These public bonds are just looted. And the problem is that they're going to be defaulted on. And then once they default, they're not going to be able to be issued new bonds. So the money effectively is cut off in these cities. You're going to see, I think in New York City and LA, places like that, maybe Chicago, these other places, I think you're going to see literally schools shut down, buses shut down. It's kind of funny because Donnie wants free buses. There's not going to be any money for buses. Literally, the city's going to be shut down. And it's not funny, but at the end of the day.
But you know what? People, listen, there's so many people in these states that are so asleep. That's the problem, and you can say it's because the way the economy is, the way lifestyle is, you don't have a chance to think. Okay, so we'll give them a little bit of that. But the other part is they're just spelled. So something has to break that, and unfortunately it's going to be something very, very painful. We know that. And even though I go off and I carry on about this, like pissed off, very seriously, why do you think a lot of these places have these absurd and ridiculous ways to make money? For example, why are the red light cameras out of control in these cities, right? I mean, you are like, they are timed. They know they're going to just catch you. It's bullshit. Why are the speed traps so crazy? I mean, who can literally go 20 miles an hour? You can't. They have them set. I get at least 2-3 tickets a week between me and my kids, and being mindful of what it is. So they've tried to implement all these other ways to bring money in, because the system is so broken. And I don't want to really see all this happen, but with the schools, isn't that also tied to all the other stuff that we know about the schools and taking down the Department of Education? So I think it's all like weaved together.
Exactly. That's all these events coming to that head, and everything's gonna meet at this one point. And I think if I had to theorize here, I think that's what Juan O'Savin means by the perfect day. The perfect day is when we have them dead to rights. No liberal, because you see Tim Walz's daughter coming out in that stupid video, and a lot of other people, liberals, coming out defending this, saying, "Oh, it's white supremacy, it's racism, what they're doing by exposing this fraud." There's no fraud here. Well, it's going to be very hard when we find not just one example or a few examples, but we have hundreds of examples all at the same time with receipts, with names, right? We're naming names. It's Waltz. It's whatever that guy, Keith Ellison. It's Ilhan Omar. They're all part of it. And the crazy part is that, we talk about Nancy Pelosi's, amazing stock trades where she's made hundreds of millions of dollars. That's nothing. We found that Stacey Abrams, she's got some campaign fund that she's sitting on, that she's got total control of the money, $2 billion. Stacey Abrams is a billionaire. Mm-hmm. They're all billionaires. Yeah. That's what they're doing. They're just actors covering up their crimes and collecting billions of dollars behind the scenes, and could be offshore accounts, could be campaign accounts, whatever. But these people are traitors. It's treason. And it's like, what never made sense to me, guys, is what are they going to do with that money? How are they going to go enjoy their millions or billions of dollars? What are they going to do when you don't have a country? What are you going to do? What are you going to do with that money? So it's almost like you have to be a total idiot to go along with a plot like what the deep state's doing. How are you going to even enjoy the money? It's not like you can just go right off into the sunset and take it somewhere else. No, if America falls, the rest of the world falls.
Yeah.
People are idiots.
But it also begs the question, if you go, I'm sorry, Stu, if you go that next step, are they really idiots, or are they just bought and owned and have no choice, and they're the person on the strings that are doing the dirty work for those behind the scenes that we know have been taken out? It's
both. And here's the proof. Just look at that Fannie Willis lady. Yeah. She is a total, pardon my language, she is a total fucking idiot. She was telling the people asking her questions about her, dealings with money and her budgets. And she's telling the people asking serious questions, effectively judges asking serious questions. She's like, "Oh, that's a dumbass question. That's a dumbass question," like some ghetto rat, right? So, I mean, these are the people, and you know what? Kudos to George Soros for finding the dumbest idiots he could possibly find and put in these positions. I give him all the credit in the world.
Yeah.
Are they all deep state actors, or are they white hat plants?
I think these are
because it is so preposterous the way they're behaving.
Yeah, and it's also shaming. You know what I mean? It's also part of the shaming rituals too.
Yeah,
right.
To actually make them look as asinine as they're. Do you? I mean,
yes.
Stupidest person, would they really act like that? I don't know, but if you're forced to, now you really have to show what you're really about.
I mean, these people are
brilliant. It's a brilliant plan, but I think you're right in terms of the strategy you laid out about the banks and about, you know, what's happening with precious metals. So, Stu, unless you have a question, I had a couple of questions.
Oh, what were you going to say there, Matt?
What's that?
What were you going to say there?
I was just going to say that, you know, just to cap off what we were just talking about. This is money transferring to different people. This is billions, if not, it'll be uncovered to trillions of dollars. Who transfers that money around? The banks. So you don't think the bankers knew about this? You don't think they're in on it, taking their cuts? It's a club, and you ain't in it.
Yeah.
George Carlin.
Well, just what you were saying there about what I said about the perfect day. It's going to drip floods. It's going to come to this point where even the Liberals can't argue the point. I think it has been set up so perfectly. This is why Trump got arrested. This is why Trump had his mugshot and stuff. This is why the military is positioned everywhere. We're going to see some big name indictments come soon and all that. And it's the evidence has to all be put in their faces. Well, mind you, that 4 to 6% we hear about all the time. But I'm sure a lot of these people, we watch films like The Kingsman and what they were going to do in Kazakhstan and build, palaces, that land for them and stuff. I'm sure all these people have been made promises that will never, ever be kept. Because once and this has happened in history as well, hasn't it? Once the dark side had won, they'd have taken all these idiots out first.
That's
right. Yeah.
So they did during the, what was it? They took out the teachers in the communist revolution. They took out the teachers first, the ones that promoted it. So these idiots, the useful idiots as they're called, they just don't understand it. And it's like, you know, these liberals are literally, and they're so convinced that they're right. They're so convinced that they're moral and just. It's like they actually wind up being a danger to civilized society. They're domestic terrorists at the end of the day. It's scary.
Because they stand there like, I was so amazed at these, not amazed. It literally makes you like, takes your breath away for a second when you see these like 50 something, 60 something white liberals standing there in the video, like when he was going around, at the
Leering Center.
At the Leering Center. And they're like, don't open the door. Don't. Yeah. And she's standing like this moron.
It's ice. He's like, I'm not ice. I'm Nick Shirley.
and what if he was like, and then in New York, they had another one of these, and she's getting rude with the camera guy. Like, what happened to those people that they completely lost all sense of common sense and the ability to know right from wrong? That's really what it comes down to. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I talk about this with people. And I think what Obama did was he radicalized these people into thinking that like issues like climate change, where the end of the world is coming. And if we don't do something about it, that's how you can get all these people to rig elections willingly. Just go to these local, that's how he can get these organizers to go to these places, because in their mind, they're so morally superior to us. And that if they don't win and they don't get their agenda through, Republicans and conservatives are going to ruin the world. They're going to destroy the world. And they are completely convinced of this in their brain. And what they don't realize is it's literally 100% the opposite.
Yeah.
It's 100% the opposite. And they've been MK Ultra'd so hard. It's like there's the programming has to be broken. And I think really the only way you can break that programming is through like a 9/11 style event.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way. It can be broken. I've listened to, again, Juan talk about this. It's actually not that hard, he says, to break the programming. It's just going to take some serious events in order to do so.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, to that point as well, is the fact that they've been doing this for maybe 30, 40 years, this radicalisation, that the kids that they radicalised are now all the teachers in the schools pushing this agenda that they believe to be 100% true. You know?
It's just, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to us, but, you know, to them, it's very real. It's actually quite sad. When you really think about it, it's very sad. These people are very gullible. They're, you know, some of them I'm sure are very smart people, but however the MK Ultra programming worked, they hit the right buttons. They brought them into this false reality, and here we are.
Most of them are very, I don't know if I would say smart, but they're very educated.
Right.
There's a different, you know, through the institutionalized, and it kind of
they've had the common sense educated out of them.
That's
exactly
right. And
exactly.
I've watched people, and I'm talking like, again, like you just said, very educated, multiple degrees, whatever. One post I saw from someone was how she felt like she won the lottery after she got her COVID shot. Another one was talking about that statement that was going around during that time. I don't trust the government, and even I'm vaxxed. You know, like that is how, and it was enraging to me when I would see that. Now I'm not enraged. I'm just like, yes, now we just need something to knock them out of the MK. Like, I couldn't realize at the time it was such brainwashing. I thought they were just fucking stupid. But now I'm realizing is a lot more science
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
So I have a question. So obviously there's different levels that people are at in terms of their ability to get into the metals market, right? Some people have lots of cash and money and assets, and other people are struggling. So how would you suggest to the average person who, and we see in the comments sometimes, you know, I don't have the money to get into silver. I don't have the money to do this. Like, what would be a good entree for some of these people to think about where, you know, they can at least be in the game in some way?
So it's going to sound kind of funny, but if you ever study monetary systems, there's really three different types of monetary systems. You have a commodity money system, which is the change in your piggy bank, right? Used to be silver coin. Today it's what? Copper, right? Pennies or zinc. Okay. Commodity, where the commodities in the means of exchange. So today the copper, right? If you go to a store and you put down 4 quarters on the counter, that's $1. Why? Because it's copper that's stamped with approval of the United States Treasury. So that's a commodity money. Then you have a representative money system. A representative money system is something like a gold certificate, where I have some over here somewhere, but we used to have gold certificates or silver certificates that $1 silver certificate was attached to $1 of silver held by the Treasury. So it was a representation of that silver, so you didn't have to go walking into a store and buying, a loaf of bread using silver coins, right, or gold coins. It's a little absurd. Then you have a fiat money system, which is what we're in right now, which is money backed by nothing. Okay, in other words, you can just print. There's no any representation behind it. There's nothing behind it. It's just full faith and confidence of the government that they're not abusing their power effectively, right? And we see where that got us.
Right.
So what I would tell people is, so what that means is that what we're saying is the change in your piggy bank is actually operates in a different monetary system than the bills in your wallet or the money in your bank account that you see on a digital screen. When you go on your online banking and you go, hey, I'm on bankofamerica.com. I've got X amount of dollars in my checking account. That's fiat money. That's nothing. So what I would tell people that don't have the means is I would say, go get a roll of quarters from the bank, $10. Go start stacking change, right? Because that money, it actually operates outside of fiat. And what have we seen with copper prices? Copper prices are also skyrocketing. So the beauty is, and there was a little quote that Trump said in 2015 when he was campaigning. He was out there and he said, hold on to those change jars, folks. Hold on to those change jars.
Right.
So what I would tell somebody who doesn't have the means to buy silver or to buy gold or any of the precious metals, go out and start getting yourself rolls of quarters, dimes, and nickels. Less pennies, right? The zinc is not as valuable, but pre-1983 pennies are copper, so hold on to those. but I would go and I would start immersing myself in US coin. And if you go to the bank and you get a roll of quarters, hey, if you ever need that money, how much are you paying in premium? Zero. There's a $0 premium for it. You just go to the bank, you hand them a $10 bill, they hand you a roll of quarters. Something else you could do is go to your bank. I do it all the time. I don't go to the bank as much as I used to. I have people that do it for me now, but I always tell people, hey, see if they have any old half dollars, any Eisenhower dollars, right? Because that gets you a lot of copper, right? Those big goofy Eisenhower dollars. That gets you a lot of copper for $1. That gets you a lot of, and sometimes you might even find some silver. I actually got a silver about 2 years ago. I was at my local branch here, and I actually did get a 40% half dollar, 40% silver half dollar. It was like a 1967 half, right? So right there, you have something that's worth maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 bucks. And what did you pay for it? 50 cents. Mm-hmm. So if you go to your bank and, you know, a lot of that change, a lot of that silver, you'll get lucky. If you do it enough, you'll get lucky and find some silver from time to time. But yeah, just to talk to people who maybe don't have the means, which I always love to do, because I want them to thrive and find an angle on this, even on a lower budget. Just go get rolls of change. That's what I would recommend. It's stamped by the U.S. Treasury. It's commodity money. It's not fiat money. And what do we see in 2020 during COVID? A change shortage. Mm-hmm. So I think what they wanted to do is they wanted to suck in all the change because they knew that would have future value. So I always tell people is like, you know, maybe take a week, go pay for stuff in cash and just get change every day. And then what I do is I've got buckets up here. I've got buckets of just, you know, big, they're golf ball buckets. You know, when you buy the 50 or the 100 golf balls, you know, I got a bunch of them right up here, just stuffed with, you know, quarters, nickels, anything you can imagine. So I would say collect that. Don't go to what is it? Chain Star. What is it called? You know, the Coinstar in the grocery store. Yeah, don't go to Coinstar. Okay. Hold on to your change. It's a great place to take a position in precious metals in a sense.
Oh, that is interesting because over here in the UK, in the bank and many of the supermarkets and stuff, they've all got these change machines, and you see people turn up, putting their pennies in. You know, makes me sick. I saw a video of someone turn up with a wheelbarrow with him and his son, and they were putting it in, and I think they got a couple of $100, but it's all in paper, and you're much better off with that stuff anyway, aren't you?
But the problem, you know, and we don't want to kind of say these people, when you have a bill to be paid and you've got a jar of change around, you know, to us, if we say, oh, it's $50 or it's $100, that could pay someone's, you know, part of their rent or their electric.
No doubt. Yeah. I'm just talking about.
We're just trying to give them that different perspective to
different perspective. Exactly. Yeah, if you're like, you know, if you're really struggling, just trying to get by and you need that to pay, they'll pay your bills, you know, obviously. Right. But I would just say if it's something where you want to, you know, you have an extra, you know, $5 or $10 a month that you can only allocate, something just very minimal that won't even get you an ounce of silver, won't even get you very much of anything. That's a good place to do it because before you know it, you got a lot of stacks of change. And I think that change is going to become extremely valuable because why? From what we hear, and I know you guys have heard this through the rumblings, we're going to see 1940s and 1950s prices return. So if a gallon of milk is a nickel or a dime, now what is that? You know, $20 or $50 or $100 worth of change really worth? It's worth thousands of dollars.
Right.
Yeah.
You can support yourself for months with that little jar of change.
Yes.
So I think I think movie tickets in the future are going to be a nickel. You know, I think because we have to think about it. We have to get out of these trillions of dollars. Really, we're in the quadrillions of dollars when you factor in derivatives and all this debt built on top of debt, right? And just these toxic assets. We're really in the quadrillions of dollars. We have to get out of those levels. And this goes back to like people say, oh, Matt, do you think, you know, you say, can silver hit 3,500? It's like, yeah, but if we get the system repriced, let's say silver is just $50. Well, what's $50 in a system where your average grocery bill is $25?
Right. It's all relative.
It's all relative, right? So relativity is really what people have to start thinking about. And in this transition, I'm not worried about silver hitting $300. I'm not worried about silver hitting $3,000 or gold going up to $40,000. sure, there might be a window of time where you could deploy that, maybe buy your dream house, right? Nothing wrong with that. Hey, if you got to spend the money somewhere, what better place than the house? That's what I would tell people holding silver right now and gold, is there might be a nice window of time where, hey, you can really deploy that back into the system and get, your dream, whatever that is, house, car, whatever. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But that's what I would tell people that maybe are on, more of a shoestring budget.
Yeah. And what about people who are not on a shoestring, but they're tight? Like, what would be a good entry point to get into silver? Because I think people sometimes feel ashamed, like, especially a lot of different companies will say we have minimums. We're only going to sell if you have a minimum and stuff like that. And I understand, I guess it's business, but like, people then start to feel like, oh, even if I have a couple of hundred, it's not enough. The
only people that should feel ashamed, okay, are the people ripping off the system, like the Somalis in Minnesota, okay, with an 89% welfare rate as coming here to the country, bringing absolutely nothing to the table. Those are the people that should feel ashamed, not our people. I don't care how much money you make. There's dignity in what you do. I don't care what kind of job you have. There's dignity in work. I don't care if you're a garbage man. As a matter of fact, I highly respect. Imagine we didn't have garbage men.
Right.
Imagine that. Imagine what society would look like. Thank God for our garbage men.
Yep.
And I think what this moment has to bring is an appreciation for jobs like that. But to your question, which was
the entry point, like
So in my 20s, I didn't make a lot of money. I was just getting by. I was in my late teens, my 20s. I was just getting by, and I found that buying silver was a great savings tool. You know what I bought just recently? I tell people I just bought some pound bars of titanium. You can get titanium bars for $50.
Okay.
Right? I don't really sell them. Maybe I should. I mean, it's a lot of weight. 1 pound 50. But how much titanium can you take? But I've been buying titanium for years. I think that's a great metal. It's not a precious metal, but it's a metal.
Yeah.
It's an element, right, on the periodic table of elements. T, right? Go figure. Those are also great opportunities where you can get, hey, copper bars, titanium bars. These are things that people can buy that are going to have tremendous value in the future. I mean, titanium, I could think of the SR-71 Blackbird or Blackhawk during the Cold War, right? The big spy, it was a spy plane that goes like Mach 3 or Mach 4. They had to get titanium. It's all in Russia. All the titanium mines are in Russia. The United States had to set up shell corporations to buy Russia's or the USSR's titanium in order to bring it back to build a plane that was going to then go spy over that same country that they got it from. So titanium's quite rare. It's got tremendous applications. I'm an avid shooter. So, for example, a lot of my suppressors, silencers that you put on guns to quiet the sound, a lot of those are made out of titanium. There's a huge demand for those.
Wow. So
there's a lot of other, I think any commodity, in other words, think of commodity as tangible. I think any physical resource, including collectibles, is a great place to be. George magazines, right? If we see the return of Kennedy, what are those going to be worth?
Right.
So I can show people listings on eBay, and I don't want anything for it. If your audience just wants a call and just wants me to help them locate one, we could go locate, certain George magazines that I know there's communications in from back in the day that still go for $50. Get you some of those. What's that worth in a couple of years? Thousands of dollars. So there's so many places you could be storing your money right now. You could do it in collectible cars. I'm not so much a car guy, but hey, if you find the right car at the right price, I think it's about getting your money out of the system and into something tangible. And then just waiting to see what happens on the other side of this and see how this whole system's restructured.
Yeah, physical assets, isn't it, rather than paper money? And is it true that pretty much only 3% of the money is actually in physical supply in the public hands, whereas 90%?
No one really knows. I've heard that there's about $20 trillion of physical cash. That's what I've heard. But I've also heard that right now the deep state has been printing, I think, 100 trillion in cash, and they've been taking it with them for their escape. Now that's very speculative and that's very conspiratorial, but it comes on good authority hearing them say that. So who really knows how much physical cash is out there? Who knows? They wouldn't tell us anyway.
So where do you think they're going to try and escape to? Because I don't think there's anywhere for them to run.
Antarctica. Kathy Austin Fitz did an interview with Tucker Carlson. I recommend everybody watch that. Catherine Austin Fitz. Yeah. She's phenomenal. I love, anytime she speaks, I listen. She revealed that the deep state built an underground city with $21 trillion. $21 trillion.
I mean, that's 100% believable as far as I'm concerned. But again, we're in this movie, so they're revealing to us the stuff I believe that was done that people had no clue about, and I'm not really sure these people are still walking around. But people have to understand this, no question about it. So these interviews are important, and people that carry this knowledge. But I just find it within me very hard to believe that they still hold this money and they still are in control of a lot of those things. I mean, it's enraging to think that's what they were doing. And we need to start being more alert about all this stuff. So next question for you. We always hear about how you could take your 401k and your IRAs and you can roll them over into gold, right?
Right.
Or silver, precious metals. What does that process actually look like? Because I think some people just find maybe it's daunting because they don't know how it works. But I'm thinking maybe if they understood a little bit the 1, 2, 3 steps of how it works, maybe a lot more people would be inclined to do that.
Yeah. So basically what you're doing is you're just changing your investment strategy from, let's say, traditional assets, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, whatever, ETFs. You're changing your investment strategy to gold and silver, right? And you're really accomplishing 3 things. You're getting out of the banks, out of the financial, institutions. Go Google the logo for Fidelity. Fidelity's, I think, one of the largest, if not the largest, holder of retirement assets on the planet. Go look at their logo, Fidelity. Google it. Tell me what you find. So you're getting your money out of these financial institutions. You're getting your money out of the fiat dollar, right? Because you're converting into gold and silver, which is constitutional money. So you're moving out of this monetary system that's failing. And then you're moving out of markets and exposure to, whatever corrections or downturns, whatever you're going to see. I have to imagine there's going to be some, and they're probably going to be very significant. They have to be. I mean, I don't see any other way. It's not that I think everybody's going to lose every penny that they have, but I think people are going to be, their money's going to be hit from all different angles to devalue it and to debase it. So what you're really doing is you're moving that money to a self-directed IRA. And the only reason we use a self-directed IRA because that's a type of IRA that can hold physical gold and physical silver. Some people put real estate in self-directed IRAs, right? There's all kinds of strategies, right, that we could talk about for self-direct, but they hold physical precious metals. So we do that. It's tax-free, penalty-free. You're just moving IRA to IRA. You can always move back to an IRA in the future, right? You can always shoot through you're moving laterally through the IRA system. The money's not coming out, so you're not creating any penalties or taxable events or anything like that.
Right.
And then, you purchase, once those funds arrive, you purchase those precious metals. So generally I'll recommend, hey, let's do half gold American Eagle. Let's do half silver American Eagle. Right. And I think that's great advice. These other companies, they're going to give you, some spiel about, oh, we got to get you into this coin and this coin. And you wind up paying 3 times the price of gold and silver because these guys are just taking it all in commission. Right. What I do is I give people great insights. Sorry about the dogs. I give people great insights in terms of product choices. It's something that will plug you into a constitutional monetary system, like a gold eagle, or so they're already considered legal tender right now, right? So that's the beauty of it. So then we allocate it toward that, and then the people have a choice of what depository they want to store it at, because you're really supposed to store it at a third party. You're not supposed to hold it yourself. Why? Because if you held it yourself, it would be you taking your money, and that would look like what? A distribution. Right. So there's facilities throughout the country. And what makes me, I would say, the most unique in the gold and silver space is the fact that I do self-storage IRAs where people can go and store at a place of their choosing, right? So in other words, you can go find a facility local to you. We'll ship you your gold and silver. End of story, right? End of story. So the beauty of that is you actually see, hang on one second. Let me tell this dog to be quiet.
I can live where
My
he
puppy
shuts
getting
up.
big. Yeah, he likes to bark at nothing in the backyard.
Aw.
So what the beauty of that is that I would actually ship you your IRA gold and silver. You can actually hold it, inspect it. You have 60 days to get into the facility. And I would imagine, I'm sure, that there's some people that just hold it themselves. You're not supposed to do it. You can risk an audit doing that. But quite frankly, I mean, I'm just a gold dealer. I'll help you facilitate getting the business done. What you decide to do with that gold and silver in your IRA is completely up to you. Cash purchase, when people just send in money, that gets shipped to you. There's no requirement for a third-party depository. But in other words, with a gold IRA, there is a requirement. So I also offer private storage facilities of partners of mine that I trust and know. So if you did the IRA that I'm talking about, where we ship you the gold and silver and you can inspect it yourself, I can get it to a depository for you that's trustworthy, that you can go down and visit, that I know personally. A lot of the other depositories, I don't know them personally. So it's like, I think they're great. I think they've done a great job. I've had no problems with any of them over the years. Very few, at least. And I think they're fine, especially if Kamala Harris were in office, I'd say, hold on to your stuff yourself, risk the audit, right? Worst case scenario, you're not going to jail. They would just say, hey, this is no longer an IRA. You're in possession of your stuff. You owe this tax bill.
Right.
But we structure it in such a way where people have all the options available to them. We're not one of these gold companies like every other gold company out there, which is cookie cutter models where, we're just going to send you here. That's it. Right. We literally, we give people a whole set of options that whatever they're most comfortable with, they can do.
Okay. So, I mean, the process is, because I did it myself, it's really easy. I mean, you're talking to wherever your current IRA / 401k is being sort of held or managed. And it's sort of like a communication between the two, between, let's say, yourself and the other person. I mean, it's all paper, really. It's all paperwork, signing and authorizing.
Exactly.
And then you're able to make that transfer. I'm really happy I did. I'm really happy that I did it. And I would definitely.
And we handle all the paperwork for you. In other words, I have a back office team that, will do all the facilitation, the transfers, right? Just make your life easy. The only thing we really need up front is just a recent copy of a statement, right? Full copy, the whole thing. Once we get that, we open up the account. And then from there, we might need you for 5 or 10 minutes on a phone call to call your current financial company, whoever it is, to get either with a 401k issued a check or with an IRA. We just send in, we don't even need a call. We just send in a transfer form. They transfer the funds. Takes, I'd say the process takes maybe in total about one, depending on the speed of how quickly the other companies work, maybe one to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's simple stuff. And what's great is I don't charge an arm and a leg commission. I charge a couple percentage points. You go to these other gold companies. The problem is that these companies are going to charge you astronomical premiums. I'm talking 50, 100, 200%. And there's no, it should be illegal, but it's, and I think it is. I think at the end of the day, I think there's going to be a lot of regulatory stuff coming down on a lot of these gold companies. But I mean, what these guys are charging, there's no regulation over what these guys are charging. So there's no oversight. So if you go to these gold companies, they'll pull the wool over your eyes. And next thing you know, you're looking at your $500,000 IRA. It's down to $200,000. And you're wondering where your money went.
Yeah.
It's criminal. It's disgusting. So we do a fabulous job in terms of, our fees and things like that. We're I would say the cheapest in the business, and we'll do the best job. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. And you got a friend in the Patriot community, and that's kind of nice too.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah. I mean, my other question was going to be, what makes you different from other gold companies and silver companies? But you've pretty much answered it all there. Is there anything you can add to that? No? Yeah,
when I'm at my office and not my home studio, when I'm at my office, you don't have dogs barking, which is nice.
Right.
River, come on. You probably see, so we have pheasants back there, so they like to run around in the morning.
Dog.
You don't have to mute yourself if you want to shout anything.
I got him 6 months ago. He's a black lab. A family up in a husband and wife up in Prescott were fostering him, and I was up there and I ran into them and we got to talking. And he's wearing an XRP hat. I'm like, oh, do you know Mel Carmine by any chance? He's like, yeah, I watch Mel's show all the time. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, Mel's a friend of mine. And so he got into it, and an hour and a half later, he's like, "Yeah, we're going to meet somebody for this dog. Here he is. Come here, Riv. Come here." He's like, "If you want the dog, we feel good about giving him to you." So I was like, "I'll take him." And then, of course, once you get one, then of course, my other friend came by, and she's like, "Oh, I'm fostering this little golden retriever. I love her, but I don't want to keep her." I'm like, "I'll take her." So now he's got a little girlfriend. We got a little 5-month-old golden retriever female, and then a black lab male.
The little siblings now.
And I got to get one of them. Neutered, because if I don't do it soon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, aside from the obvious, it's also not fair. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not gonna this way and this way, they're you don't have to worry, and then they don't feel like they're missing something. Let's put it that way.
It's nice. It's actually been easier having the two of them together than just having him alone.
Yeah, because dogs are needy.
You want them in twos. So if you ever get the big dogs, I get a little Chihuahua here who somebody found on the side of a highway 2.5 years ago. I'm like, I'll take her. So I got these two dogs and a little Chihuahua, and they're great. I mean, they love it. We got a nice big yard for them to run around in. I take them all over the place. We're going to be going up to Prescott for my birthday coming up, Insurrection Day. And it's my birthday, January 6th.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to be taking them up, and that should be a lot of fun. I love going up north. Going up north is great. If you guys ever come down here, I'll take you up to either Sedona or Prescott or both. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's one of our trips, Stu. We got a lot of trips. We're going down to Costa Rica, to Carol Maureen's.
Yep.
We got to come down to Arizona.
I got to go visit Carol. Carol's my girl.
Well, we're gonna all go. She's on now. She's watching us. So we all are gonna have to figure out how we can all go down there together, because I know she has limited
party in Costa Rica. Yeah, I hear her place is unbelievable. I hear Costa Rica's unbelievable. I would love that experience. I mean, that's just as good as, to me, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Carol certainly knows where to live.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's interesting what you were saying earlier about, the people that haven't got much money and just getting these small coins and all that. Pretty much every business I've worked for over here when I was on the tools and stuff, it doesn't matter if you're electricians earning loads of money or builders and stuff. Everyone has got a copper bin. Do you know what I mean? You've got all the scraps and the old wiring and all that, because it builds up and it builds up and it builds up, and you take it to a merchant, whatever they're called, and stuff like that. Get your returns for it. Most stuff that people would normally throw away. Mind you, this is why a lot of burglars and stuff on church roofs and it taking lead off and all sorts of things like that.
Yep. Well, I was in London for a couple months in 2020 into 2021. I was traveling during COVID. Go figure, right? Yeah. And they were digging up the whole subway system and into the ground, and I realized, I'm like, they're going after copper right now. That's probably part of what they were doing, was going after their own copper from 100 years ago.
Yeah.
So these metals, whether it doesn't have to just be gold, silver, platinum, palladium, it could be copper, it could be titanium, it could be all these different metals. These are all valuable to have, and I would suggest, even if you have a lot of money, go buy some titanium.
Yeah.
What I do with them is I put them on display. Some of it. I put it on display. It's just it's a cool looking showpiece. Hey, what's that? So, you come into my office here in Glendale, I'm 2 exits down from my house from here. I've got copper ore from up in Cottonwood, Arizona. It used to be a major copper mine. And I've got the copper ore. It's beautiful. It's a nice, beautiful piece just taken right out of the ground. It's just sitting on display. It's just kind of fun stuff. So, yeah. we want to help everybody.
And you said that, for example, a titanium bar is like $50.
Like $50.
Yeah.
1 pound. Yeah.
And what about copper?
Copper, I'm not sure. Probably similar.
Okay. No, I mean that's just
probably 10. You could probably get 10. I forget the price of copper. I forget it offhand. I'm not looking at copper prices all the time, but yeah, just anything tangible. And like I said, George magazines. I've got some clever collectibles that I think will have value when the truth comes out. Yeah. So, your audience is always welcome to call, even if it's just to say hi. But I'm gonna get rolling, because my phone's been blowing up
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're going to let you now. Do we want to just put up on the screen, Stu, just if anybody can call Matt? And
Great to
obviously,
be with you guys.
you
Yep,
are
there you go.
Yeah, and obviously, you guys, you see how accessible Matt always is, because even when he's on our show, you know, he's fielding calls. Last time you had to take a call, I think. So that's the number. Just call that. 1-888-318-7598. And you'll get Matt, and he's just wonderful, and he'll help
You
walk
guys.
through what you need to do.
Thank you. Well, hey guys, have a happy new year, and I'll see you next year.
Yeah, we wish you a happy birthday. Oh
Yes.
no, it's on January 6th, so you'll
That's
be
it.
on.
Thank you. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
All right,
Okay.
take care.
All
Lots
right.
of love.
Adios.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye. You know, I love having him on. I was just going to say before we got off, but it was funny that we had Brad Olsen on the other day when everyone was coughing. That was I'll set me off now. Everyone's getting lozenges and glasses of water. But what we're saying there about the deep state escaping it's quite interesting, isn't it? The fact that Brad Olsen was talking about Antarctica, underground bases, what's going on there, all the shenanigans and stuff like that. But isn't it really interesting that and this is talking about flat Earth and firmaments and stuff like that, and Hillary talking about cracking the ceiling and all these sorts of things.
Yes.
If they could get off this planet to escape, they wouldn't be needing to dig underground bases, would they?
Well, however, that's a whole other conversation we could get into next time. Maybe we could get someone on to talk about it. I think I don't know that it's like either or. I think it's both, because we do know that a lot of the areas where we've had wars, you know, there's portals. So that is what I believe. You know, I mean, I haven't done a lot of research and everything like that, but it just seems to me that if we are in this, you know, there is a firmament, right? It says it in the Bible, et cetera, that there would have to be another means by which people would have to leave the planet.
Yeah.
And so maybe this escaping was ultimately, when they were all trying to escape and everything like that, was going to places like Antarctica or these underground places, but who knows where those portals are, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And to Carol, I thought as soon as you said I had such a beautiful mane yesterday upon my bonds, I thought I would not wear a hat today. So that is for you. Wonderful. Yes. But yeah, so we leave it there then. It's always going to be a little bit of a shorter show with Matt, but I think that's what we want to do. Get on, smash out what's been going on in the metals markets and stuff over the week, and all things financial. Silver obviously went up a lot over the previous month. It's taken a little bit of a dive, but you know, that, like Mark Atwood was saying yesterday, potentially they want people to have a panic attack and sell it. You know, I'm not a financial advisor, but assets in your possession, and it doesn't matter what assets you've got either, because if you've got, you know, whether it's metals like titanium, copper, anything like that, whether you've got books, whether you've got, you know, any sort of tools and things like that, if you've got stuff in your possession, you can always sell it if you get into a bit of a bind, you know?
Absolutely. And I love how Matt breaks a lot of things down. He's so knowledgeable. He's really done his homework, you know, when it comes to the history, financial history within, you know, he always explains a lot within the last 100 years and what's been going on and what's happening now. So we're just so grateful to have him be part of our show once a week. I know I learn something new every time. Yeah. And I'm actually going to check into these George magazines. That's kind of cool. When I was like in my early 20s, I was just such a huge fan of animation when I was, you know, growing up. And I actually bought a bunch of, it was big at one time, especially in New York, this area, selling the cells, because when they used to draw everything on the celluloid. And so they started to realize this stuff once they made the animated film, they didn't need that anymore. It was like, but then they realized, oh, there's something kind of cool here for the collector market. So I have a lot of those I don't know if they're going to be worth anything, but they're certainly nice to look at. So I feel like even if you get things like these magazines or different collectible stuff, you know, there's a joy in just having them, you know, and having them around your home, and hopefully maybe some of them have some nice energy. So the George magazine is an interesting one, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's lots of comms and stuff in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, isn't there?
Yeah. So to Carol, we've noted that you have room for 16 people, and I can guarantee you we're going to start chatting with a bunch of us to see what kind of group we could put together. Maybe like, you know, I don't know, not like in the next few months, maybe, but definitely within 2026, I would hope.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, look, if we get a global red pill come out and some massive awakening, or an RV, or distribution of wealth, or anything like that, you know, we've all got what we can to sort our finances out, and like 10 days worth of food if it goes down and things like that. But if this global red pill comes out, because I'll tell you what's going to happen. If we have this massive awakening of truth, right? I can't see anyone worrying about paying any bills anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not paying my mortgage if they've been involved. You know, I'm not paying the council if they're all involved in this and taking bribes. It will cut off. So people will have an abundance already, because I believe people will stand up in their truth then and go, I ain't fucking doing that.
100%. Look at our community, right? How many people in our awakened community have said no to taxes?
Yeah.
Right? How many have figured out how to not have to pay utility bills? Because they know what's going on. So you're absolutely right. More people find out. It's what we've been talking about, this kind of mass non-compliance, you know, but now it's going to be more visceral. People are going to feel it. That's what's missing right now. They
Exactly
don't
that. Yeah, definitely. I'd just like to say to Carol, you've actually got 14 spaces. Okay.
No, actually 13, because we got to include George too. So he's part of that.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Oh,
yeah, well, I haven't got a +1 at the moment, so pencil in 12 then. Yeah, and we're sorted and all ready to go. Because I'm sure if I'm going to Costa Rica, people, oh, can I come with you? I'll have to think about it. Yeah. Anyway, right, that's it. I don't even know what I've got to set up as an outro. Oh, dark to light again. I might have to have a little change about and put some different things in here, I think. But yeah, great show.
Right. So we will see everyone. Have a happy, healthy new year. Enjoy whatever you're doing. Be safe. Be with, feel the love. Keep your vibration high. We're all in it together. We're all together. We're all ascending together and here to help and love each other. And we will be back on Friday at this point, we're hopeful that Jason and Dina are all set up, because last week was a little difficult. And the plan is to be here at, 11:30 Central, 12:30 Eastern, and 5:30 UK time, GMT. So Friday we'll be back.
And we are not doing anything tomorrow, our regular Thursday show, as it's New Year's Day. But we will be back on Saturday for that 2 hours in the afternoon, an all welcome show. Yes. And we'll see how that goes. We had Brett on the first one a few weeks ago. And if anyone wants to come on and have a chat, and if you want to hide your face and just be audio and have a chat with us, the more people we get on, I think we're limited to 10 spaces. So you and I plus 8. Yes. But if anyone wants to come on, it's really nice, because I did have an email from someone the other day who's in the chat actually, and she was saying she's stuck in London and she's just sort of on her own in normie land and all that, and doesn't have any outreach of any truthers around her. So anyone like that wants to come and join the party, this is why we're doing it, really. That Absolutely. On a Saturday afternoon, and Probably won't do it every week, maybe every fortnight or something like that, but we'll just see how it goes. If we're in high demand, obviously, we may have to. But yeah, it's only a couple of hours on a Saturday afternoon and morning for Elisa. So that's brilliant. And I'll tell you what, I've just changed the outro video.
Oh, fun.
Because this is a little 3.5 minutes. I went raving for about 17 years, just partying and, you know, all these sorts of things. And I was sort of saving this video for when the truth comes out, because everyone in it is just smiling and having fun and a really good dance. So it's good, and it's a cracking old dance tune. So yeah, thanks for joining, everyone. Much love to you all. Where we go all, and we'll see you Friday, hopefully, with Jason. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Take care. See you later.